When he comes, no need to get up, please, because otherwise he will. Namaskaram, it is Sri Dushyant Sridhar, warmly welcome.
श्रीवाग्भवकूटजातचतुर्वेदस्वरूपिणीं शृङ्गारकामराजोद्भव सकलविश्वव्यापिनीं. The feedback has to increase, the volume has to increase, little reverb. देवीं शक्तिबीजोद्भव मातृकान शरीरिणीं देवनुत भवरोगहर वैद्यपति हृदय विहारिणीं भावरागतालमोदिनीं भक्ताभीष्टप्रदायिनीं सेवकजनपालन गुरुगुहरूपमुद्दुकुमारजननीं भजरे நான் பாடுறதே திரும்பி வருது. அப்படி பார்க்குறாங்க. தேவீம் சக்தி பீஜோத்பவ ஃபைன். சரி. ராமானுஜதயாபாத்திரம் ஞானவைராக்யபூஷணம் ஸ்ரீமத்வேங்கடநாதார்யம் வந்தே வேதாந்ததேசிகம் லக்ஷ்மீநாதசமாரம்பாம் நாதயாமுனமத்தியமாம் அஸ்மதாச்சாரியபர்யந்தாம் வந்தே குருபரம்பராம் யோ நித்யமச்சுதபதாம்புஜயுக்மருக்ம வியாமோஹதஸ்ததிதராணி திருணாயமேனே अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये. माता पिता युवतयस्तनया विभूतिः सर्वं यदेव नियमेन मदन्वयानाम् आद्यस्य नः कुलपतेर्वकुलाभिरामं श्रीमत्तदङ्घ्रियुगलं प्रणमामि मूर्धना. भूतं सरश्च महदाह्वयभट्टनाथ श्रीभक्तिसारकुलशेखरयोगिवाहान् भक्ताङ्घ्रिरेणुपरकालयतीन्द्रमिश्रान् श्रीमत्पराङ्कुशमुनिं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यम्. कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलं. वाल्मीकिर्मुनिसिंहस्य कवितावनचारिणः शृण्वन् रामकथानादं को नयाति परां गतिं. वेदवेद्ये परे पुंसि जाते दशरथात्मजे वेदः प्राचेतसादासीत् साक्षाद् रामायणात्मना. अञ्जनानन्दनं वीरं Janaki Shokanashanam Kapisham Akshahantaram Vande Lanka Bhayankaram Manojavam Marudatulya Vegam Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Varishtam Vatatmajam Vanarayuta Mukhyam Sri Ramadutam Shirasa Namami Anjaneyamadipatalananam Kanchanadri Kamaniya Vigraham Parijata Tarumulavasinam Bhavayami Pavamananandanam Yatra Yatra Raghunatha Kirtanam Tatra Tatra Kritamastakанjalim Bashpavari Paripurna Lochanam Marutim Namata Rakshasantakam Jayatya Shrita Santrasa Dhvanta Vidvamsanodaya Prabhavan Sitaya Devya Paramavyoma Bhaskaraha Janaki Kantasmaranam. Some more energy. Gopika Jeevana Smaranam. Namassadase Namassabhayai. With the abundant blessings of Paramatma Shriyapati, we have gathered in the very premises of Sri Venkateshwara Swami at the Lotus temple. The word lotus reminds me of Bharatam. Bharatam is seeing lotus everywhere. So, now that we are in Lotus temple, under the benign blessings of Sankara Nethralaya, they have organized this series. It's a very short one, today and tomorrow. Today I am ordained to speak on the topic Sita, tomorrow on Draupadi. Of the various scriptures that we have bequeathed in Sanatana Dharma, Srimad Ramayanam is hailed as Sharanagati Vedam. And it is deemed as the very quintessence of the Vedas. Veda Vedye Pare Pumsi Jate Dasharathatmaje Veda Prachetasad Asit Sakshad Ramayanatmana. So the very essence of the Vedas is what is found in the Ramayanam, as told to us by Valmiki Maharshi. And the word Ramayanam itself is a unique one, because the word itself suggests that it speaks, it delineates about the path taken by Rama. Ramasya Ayanam iti Ramayanam. But there is a Panini rule of the 4,000 plus sutras that the great grammarian in Samskrita Bhasha has given. One of the rules is Purva Padat Sanyayam Agaha. When two words come together to form the product word, like how reactants form a product, that is Sandhi and Sandhi Vichedam. You bring two words together and you know how to split it. For example, I'm sure there was such a beautiful rendition of Tulasidas Sahityam now. Who gave that? Ingarkar, Shashank. Very good. So, we have two words coming together. At times it is better not to split because it loses its beauty. Ananda Amruta Kashini Amruta Vashini Ananda Amruta. Not ideal to split there. There are certain places where you can split. Most other languages also have this concept. Entre plus prenore becomes entrepreneur, right? So you have two words coming together. Similarly, you have Ramaha and Ayana Shabdam. So the rule of Panini is the first word should have Ra. ஆரம்பிக்கும்போதே இந்த மாதிரி ஆரம்பிப்பாடா சார், ஏன்னா கிராமர் கிளாஸ் ஆயிடுது. Ramaha, Ra. It can be ra, ra, ri, ri, ru, ru, whichever form. It is ra. The second word should have no ga, but should have na. In case the first word has ra, the second word has na and no ga, the resultant word should not have na, but it should have na. That is the rule. Purva padatu sanyaya magaha. For example, Ramaha, it has ra. Ayana, it has na, but it doesn't have ga. So Ramaha plus Ayana cannot be Ramayana. It has to be Ramayana. That na should become na. So that is the rule. Purva padatu sanyayam agaha. So we have Ramayanam. That is how we have Uttarayanam. Uttarayanam, Ramayanam. So the path taken by Rama is Ramayanam. But after having given the name Ramayanam to this beautiful work, Valmiki suggests that he should have called it by a different name. Sitaya's Charitam Mahat. I should have called it as Sita's Charitam because in a way it talks about the greatness of Sita and her alone. But now that he had applied for Ramayanam, got the trademark, he didn't want to go through the same process. So he said, let it remain as is and let it leave as Ramayanam. Sitaya's Charitam Mahat. See, what is the greatness attached to Sita? Because Parashara Maharshi in Sri Vishnu Puranam suggests, Nityaivesha Jaganmata Vishnu Shri Ranapayini Devatve Devadeheyam Manushyatve cha Manushi Raghavatve Abhavat Sita Rukmini Krishna Janmani. This is a Vishnu Purana Vakyam. If Bhagavan chooses to be Deva, Mahalakshmi chooses to be Devi. If he is Bhagavan, she is Bhagavati. If he is Ishvara, she is Ishvari. If he is Rama, she is Sita. If he is Krishna, she is Rukmini. So they come as a Divya Dampati in every avatar. That said, there was a great Raja in Mithila Pradesham. Mithila, Videha is a province, and the Rajadhani, the capital, was called Mithila. And incidentally, the rulers, the kings who ruled that region, were given the surname Janaka. So the king who ruled at that point in time was called Siradhwaja. But he was called Siradhwaja Janaka. It was a surname. He had a younger brother called Kushadhwaja. Kushadhwaja ruled a place called Sankhasya, and he was called as Kushadhwaja Janaka. Siradhwaja Janaka desired good children. See, everyone desires children. It should be good. See, I think in Frankfurt, towards the end of my lecture, there were two Dampatis who met me. One Dampati said, we don't have children. The other one said, we have children. Illanalum problem, irundalum problem. So, Janaka wanted good children. That is why when Vishwamitra woke Rama up, not the woke. Woke na, even the verb of woke. So when he woke Rama up, he said, Kausalya Supraja Rama, the good son of Kausalya, wake up. Because all of us have children. Good children, it's doubtful. So Supraja, Su is a prefix that is added to qualify that child, stating that the child was good, whatever features or salient features were associated with Rama. Whereas you have the prefix Ku, if it is not good. It is said then, Parameshwara, Mahadeva was dancing. He does an natyam called Tandavam. So when he does Tandavam, one of the Puranas suggests that when Shiva was dancing, between his brows was a drop of sweat that was formed. See, in steam bath and sauna, sweat is good. But there is a Vedavakyam which suggests that sweat is a sign of poverty. What should we do now? Sweat? I'm not asking. So, but in the Vedam it suggests so. So, Shiva's sweat fell on earth. And we deem earth as Mother Earth, Bhumi Devi. Since the sweat fell on earth, as a result of which a Graham was born. is what Puranam suggests. It's an allegorical depiction. That graha is called Mars, Mangala, Kuja. Since his birth was through the sweat, and the sweat is regarded as a sign of destitution, that birth is not very superior. So it is prefixed with the letter Ku. So it is Kuja, not Suja. Ravi Shashi Kuja Buddha Guru Shukra Shanaishchara Rahu Ketu Netaram Rajakumaram Ramam Pavana Japtam Avanija Manoharam Bhajare Re Manasa Kuja. So this Ku is a prefix. That is why Vastram. I have told this in many of my lectures. Till about 200 years back, we didn't have, both the men and the women in Prachina Bharata Desham never had the concept of draping, wearing stitched clothes. They will just wear woven clothes. It has to be a woven long garment that needs to be chopped or cut how much ever is required, and then you drape. If it's the man, you drape it as kacham below the waist, and then you take the cloth that comes over and above the body, that is uttariyam. So it goes above, uttariyam or angavastram. For the women, there was no concept of a blouse. It was just tanabharam and then a cloth. So the stitched cloth concept never existed. In Kanchipuram sari, it is called korvai. You take the border and then weave it together with the body portion. That was not there. So it was all self-border. Tadda kulanka murtau, says Vedanta Deshika. And if someone, they had large places where the garment was torn, they had to discard it. I'm sure those of you who have grown under the nourishment of your grandparents will remember, if something is torn, they'll ask you to discard. But then there was a person who couldn't discard. He had no cloth to replace the stone cloth. So he would take pieces of existing cloth and stitch those places where it was torn. Since he stitched and wore, he was called as Kuchela. Kuchela means poorly clad. Today we call it designer. So there is an organza with a small paithani or an ikat that can do justice. So that's called designer, and Sabyasachi's livelihood is based on that. So, Supraja, good children, not Ku, Supraja. Similarly, Janaka Maharaja, Siradhvaja wanted children, good children. He consulted his Purohita called Shatananda. Shatananda was his Purohita. He asked Shatananda, what should I do to beget good children? That is when Shatananda asked OpenAI, deep sea. He asked, what is the best way? That is when Shatananda learnt that the king of the neighboring region of Kosala, with its Rajadhani called Ayodhya, Aparajiteti Vidita Nakamparena Sthita. Ayodhya was the capital of Kosala. It was also called Saketa. Saketa Nagare Nivasantam Samrajya Prada Hanumantam Rakendu Vadanam Bhagavantam Ramaniya Kalyana Gunavantam Kakutstam Dhimantam Kamalaksham Shrimantam Nageshanutamanantam Naraguru Guhaviharantam Rama Chandram Bhavayami. Saketa Nagare. Ayodhya Rama, Saketa Rama. So Rama was born as a result of the yajna. Dasharatha, with the help of Rishyashringa, performed an Ashwamedha Mahayajnam, and towards the end of it performed a Putrakameshti as detailed in the Atharvana Vedam. Girvanairarthyamano dashamukha nidhanam kosaleshvrishya shringe putriyam ishtimishtva dadushida sharathakshma bhrite payasagryam tadbhuktva tatpurandhrishva pitrishu susamam jata garbha sujato ramastvam lakshmanena swayamatha bharatena api shatrughna namna. As a result of the yajna was born Rama, Bharata, Lakshmana and Shatrughna. So when there is a testimonial, when there is a good feedback attached to a certain process, Purohita said, see, there is a good result as a result of the yajna. Why don't you also perform that yajna? So when Purohita, his family priest, had said, Janaka thought it is worthwhile to do that yajna and performed that yajna. Towards the end of the yajna, Putrakameshti, Purohita Shatananda said, you need to be very, very sensitive to the thoughts of the farmers here. Why don't you till the land? So he took the plow and started tilling. The tip of the plow at one point in time led itself to a casket. Janaka was quite startled that something struck the plow, and he went closer to the casket to spot a beautiful girl whose face was akin to a newly blossomed lotus, and her eyes were akin to the petals of a newly blossomed lotus. She had the nose of that of a sesame flower, and her lips were as red as the coral paste that was put. Looking at this beautiful girl and sensing that nobody around claimed to her, his Purohita suggested that she could be orphaned or she could be an Ayonija. So he adopted this girl as his very own daughter. Since this girl was adopted by the king, Janaka, she was called Janaki. Since she belonged to the Rajadhani of Mithila, she was called Maithili. Since she belonged to the province of Videha, she was called Vaidehi. Since she was spotted on Mother Earth, she was regarded as the daughter of Mother Earth. Bhumi, Avani, Dharani, Kshiti, these are all synonyms for Mother Earth. Since she is regarded as the daughter of Mother Earth, she is called Bhumi Ja, Avani Ja, Kshiti Ja, Dharani Ja. Since she was born as a result of the plow touching, she was called Sita. So Sita, Vaidehi, Janaki, Avanija, Dharanija, Kshitija, so many names this girl was called. Sita, her beauty is described in various shlokas in the Prayatna Stabhakam of Venkatadhvari Kavi in Lakshmi Sahasram. There are two incidents which Sita recounts to Rama later in Ayodhya Kandam. Those incidents happen now. Later when Rama has to leave Ayodhya, he's been ordained to live in the forest for 14 years, Navapanchacha Varshani. He goes and informs Sita, Sita, I've been asked to live in the forest for 14 years, the world is small, let's keep meeting. Mua. That is when Sita said, where are you leaving me? He said, in Ayodhya. With whom? With your mothers. Unga amma oda irukradhukku anga unnodiye vandu ullame. Yeah. I have so many mothers-in-law all suffering from good health. So, I'll better come with you. That is when Sita has to substantiate her thought of accompanying Rama. So she recounts two instances while she was with her parents, whatever had happened. What are those two incidents that are cited in Ayodhya Kandam? But now since we are reconstructing the entire storyline, we need to recount it here. While her father, Janaka Maharaja, with his ministers, in those days ministers were educated, so along with the ministers, when the father was in a deep discussion, Janaka asked his ministers, can you bring a Daivagnya? Daivagnya is an astrologer, a Jyotishi. So the Jyotishya Shastra Nipuna Vidwan came And Janaka said, these were the placements of the grahas on the day when I spotted my daughter. Can you please tell me how her jatakam looks? அப்படின்னா அவரும் பார்த்துருக்காரு சார் ஜாதகம் பார்த்தேடா நான். He looked at the jatakam. The Jyotishi said, she is Sakshat Maha. But when I look at her jatakam, I sense that she will stay in the forest for a long time. Sita recounts this in Ayodhya Kandam. Janaka was a lot shocked, worried, in fact petrified. He wanted to get this rechecked, like concurrent titer value. He wanted to check this with another person. That is when another person came. That person was very good in palmistry. So they will look at the palm and say, that person too said that Sita will live in the forest for a very long time. All this Sita says, while I was a little girl, I eavesdropped and heard this conversation, what the Jyotishi and the palmistry specialist had with my father. By then, Rama, I had packed my necessary luggage to Dandakaranyam Cross Street, Dandakaranyam Main Road, Dandakaranyam. My luggage was ready. So, this is what Sita recounts later. All this happened because Sita was married at the age of 6. This is what Ramayana suggests. Rama was married at the age of 12. Now when I tell this, 6? Are you crazy? 6? See, the thing is, I am here to tell you what Valmiki has said. Right? Had he consulted with us, probably we could have given him suggestions. Let's complete the postdoctoral research and then let the marriage happen. But Valmiki didn't ask our permission. That's the hard, bitter truth. Sita was married at the age of 6. See, our reading of the scripture should be, what values can I take from it to better my life? This is not to do a dissertation, a research on whether what Janaka's decision of getting Sita married at the age of 6 is right or wrong. Let's court-martial Janaka. We don't have the cards. Right? So, that said, Sita was, of course, all these attributes have been detailed by our Purvacharyas. That is when on the other side, Sita is roughly 6 years of age. Now let's go to Rama, because the topic is Sita. I had to leave Rama elsewhere. Now Rama is already born, a very obedient child to his parents. Very obedient. So technically, there is nothing called Ram Leela. Very obedient. See, in school and college reunions, if you happen to go, the teacher will never ever remember an obedient student. You will have to quote the name of a student who was extremely mischievous and then say, oh, Ramesh Bachani. Pada paduthirukkom adu. So similarly, Krishna Avataram is very simple. Rama Avataram is very simple. Krishna Avataram, by the age of 10, there were 12 murders. One dance in the middle of the night, one dance over the snake, lifting of the mountain, everything. No FIR. So, whereas Rama Avataram was very simple. So that is when it is said, well, Rama was 12 years of age, and Dasharatha was very worried that his son was not married. Darakriyam prati. That is when Vishwamitra barged into the assembly hall of Dasharatha. And Dasharatha promised. He said, whatever you want, I will do. So Vishwamitra didn't know this was an election manifesto. It will never be fulfilled. So he said, Vishwamitra, what do you want? He said, give me your son. Dasharatha's BP came down to 90/50. He swooned. Then Dasharatha was brought back to his senses by Vasishtha, who said, Vasishtha said, see, I have a plethora of differences with this man called Vishwamitra, but I suggest send your son. So Rama was sent along with his brother Lakshmana to the forest. There was Tataka Vadham, Subahu Vadham, Maricha was driven away. These were the three things that happened. Maricham dravayitva makhashirasi sharair anyaraksham sinigganan kalyam kurvanna halyam patipadi rajasa prapya vaideha geham, says Bhattatri in 34th Dashakam, second verse. Maricham dravayitva, after having killed Subahu and he chased Maricha. Maricham dravayitva. The very essence of this is put forth by Vedanta Deshika. Of course, he was a poet extraordinaire in a format in Sanskritam that is called Gadyam. Jaya Jaya Mahavira Mahadhira Dhaureya Devasura Samara Samaya Samudita Nikhila Nirjara Nirdharita Niravadhika Mahatmya Dashavadana Damita Daivata Parishadabhyartita Dasharati Bhava Dinakara Kula Kamala Divakara Divishadadipati Rana Sahacharana Chatura Dasharata Charamaruna Vimochana Kosala Sutta Kumara Bhava Kanchukita Karanakara Kaumara Keli Gopaita Kaushika Dvara Rana Dvara Durya Bhavya Divyastra Brindavandita Pranadana Vimata Vimatana Dullalita Dullalita Tanutara Vishika Vitadana Vigadita Vishararu Shararu Tataka Tatake Jadake Rana Shakala Dhara Jatila Natapati Makuta Tatanatana Patu Vibuddha Saridati Atibahula Madugalana Lalita Pada Nalina Raja Upamridita Nija Vrijina Jahadupala Tanu Ruchira Parama Munivara Yuvatinuta Kushika Suta Katita Vidita Nava Vivida Kata Mithila Nagara Sulochana Alochana Chakora Chandra Kanda Parashuko Danda Prakandana Kandana Shaunda Bujada Chandakara Kirana Mandala Bodhita Pundari Kavana Ruchilunta Kalochana Mochita Janaka Hridaya Shanka Tanka Parihrita Nikhila Narapati Naravarana. So this goes on. So Vedanta Deshika suggests how Rama, after having vanquished these demons, see, there's a subtle point here. Many of the parents ask, sir, my children ask, why is Bhagavan always in the mode of killing? Why should he always carry weapons? Why can't he carry the lotus flower and extend an olive branch? Right? Why can't he stop the war? Why should he always be fighting? And we have Brihaspatis who tell us, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. This is the shloka called Avatara Ghatta Rahasya Shloka in the 4th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Krishna describes Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tavacha Arjuna. He goes on. As he describes his Avatara Rahasyam, comes this shloka, people say, Paritranaya sadhunam, to protect the sadhus. Who are the sadhus? We are the sadhus. Nammala paatha namakke sadhu mari irukko. Kannadiyila poi paaka vendidha. Paritranaya sadhunam, we are the sadhus. Vinashaya cha dushkritam, to annihilate the asuras. Dharma samsthapanarthaya, thereby by protecting sadhus and getting rid of the evil forces, there is establishment of dharmam. Dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Swami, this is the interpretation. Beautifully. Ramanuja Acharya doesn't offer this explanation. He asks a primary question. If we say that Bhagavan is omniscient, Gatva Sandipani Matha Chatushashti Ratri Mahobhihi Sarvajnastvam Saha Musalina Sarvavidya Grihitva Putram Nashtam Yamanilayanat Ahritam Dakshinartam Datva Tasmai Nijapuramagad Nadayan Panchajanyam. If Bhagavan is omniscient, he is pervasive, he is there everywhere, he has the ability that we can't even fathom, then to kill, to annihilate one Kamsa, why should he do avatar? Yes, Jujubi idella. To get rid of Kamsa, why should he come from Vaikuntham? He could do that by remote control itself, right? So Ramanuja asks this question. So Bhagavan's objective, जैसे कि बोलते हैं मकसद. What is the maksad of Bhagavan? Not to come and kill. Then there is no sympathy in Bhagavan at all. Paritranaya sadhunam. What does it mean by Paritranaya sadhunam? He wishes to be amidst his devotees. Some devotees sing such great glories of him. There was this nephew to Madanna and Akkanna in Andhra Desham. He was called Kancherla Gopanna. He was extremely adept in the Shastras, very good in maths. So he was recruited as a revenue officer to cut down on cost, Doge. So, that is when he went to different places and he landed in a place called Bhadrachalam. In Bhadrachalam, he started collecting the taxes. He was ordained to do that. In the due course, he saw an old lady fetching the waters of the lake close by and walking up the hill and doing abhishekam to very beautiful vigrahams there. Sita was seated on Rama, next was Lakshmana. So he asked, what are these Divyamangala vigrahams? This lady said, this has been coming generation after generation. It was worshipped by the rishis. We do not have the necessary money to construct a temple. If you can, please do. Here is where we have one interpretation that he used the tax revenues to construct the temple, which is wrong. Please refer to, if you have time, whenever you can make time, please listen to the Harikatha that I have done exclusively on this Bhadrachala Ramadasu in YouTube. The records, and there is a stotram called Bhadrachala Panchashat. It suggests that he did not use the temple funds. As he was collecting the tax revenue, he also had a donation drive. Don't we go to large shops where they will have one box, if you wish to donate for this cause, donate. He wanted to construct a temple, so he collected funds for the construction of the temple. Whatever was collected as taxes and which had to be passed on to the king called Tanasha, who then ruled Bhagyanagaram, known as Hyderabad near Golconda, he passed that tax money through a person. That person was supposed to go give this money to the king. He didn't give. So the king thought, when the tax money hasn't reached me, and on the other side, when he heard that a temple was being constructed by Kancherla Gopanna, Tanasha thought that the money that was meant as tax revenues was used for the temple. And he imprisoned Bhadrachala Ramadasu in Golconda fort. So that is when Bhadrachala Ramadasu Swami started pleading to Rama through beautiful verses. Adi Telugu bhashalo unna Dasharati Shatakamu anna adbhuta kavyam. Bandana bhimudu artha jana bandhavudu. So he started writing Karuna Payonidhi Dasharathi. He started singing laurels of Bhagavan's qualities. Shri Ramani Nameni Ruchira. When Rama speaks, see, when you look at Srimad Ramayanam, the greatness is how Rama speaks. Purva Bhashi, Madhura Bhashi, Mita Bhashi. He knows when to talk, how much to talk. The fourth principle, what is that? Second, listen first to understand and then be understood. In the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. He used to listen. Mita Bhashi. Then Purva Bhashi. In certain places he used to be proactive. Sudha Madhurya Bhashana Sudha. Beautifully spoken. That is why Ramadasu says, Rama, when you speak, it seems to me that there's gold glistening everywhere. Paluke Bangara Mayana Kodanda Pani Paluke Bangara Mayana. When you let Rama speak, you will feel like listening to his speech more. When you look at him, he will look good. When you look at him for the second time, he will look better. See, in economics, we call it the law of diminishing utility and marginality, right? So there is, I just love this sweet. Whoever has discovered this should get a medal. It is called Putarekulu. Telisa? Vaikuntham veldaniki adi shubhamargam. In Tamil Nadu, there is a sweet. Have you heard of Tirunelveli? Vetrikala? Telisa? Telugu varik telisa Tirunelveli anni? Kannadavurge gotta? Tirunelveli, what is it famous for? Alva. In Tamil, there are 2 things. You can eat alva and you can give alva. அல்வா கொடுக்கறதும்பா. So one of my friends asked me, see, you seem to connect all these things with philosophy, right? What is the philosophy about Tirunelveli halwa? He asked me. Connect this with philosophy, then you can prove your metal. I said, where do you get Tirunelveli halwa? Where do you get? Irrittu kadai. There is an exclusive shop called the Dark Shop. We know the Dark Lord. This is the Dark Shop. See, in Purusha Suktam there is a mantra. Vedahametam Purusham Mahantam Adityavarnam Tamasaf Parasta Tamasaf Pare. So, Tamaha is darkness. You will have to cross this realm of darkness to go to a place called Vaikuntha where there is light. Adityavarnam. So, you have this Iruttu Kadai, Tamasastu Pare, Adityavarnam. You can see Vaikuntham. So, but however great sweets are, however great they are, Pootarekulu or whatever sweet, Tirunelveli halwa, first time somebody gives you, you'll just love it. The same sweet they give 10 minutes later, you'll say, it's enough. And it won't taste as good as what it tasted the first time. Third time, you'll say, no, please, chhod dijiye mujhe, nariya responsibilities irukku. So, but Rama isn't like that. If you see him once, he's very handsome to look at. If you see him again, he's even more handsome. That is why Tyagaraja Swami says, Kana Kana Ruchira. Kana Kana Ruchira Kana Kavasana Ninnu Ninnu Kana Kana Ruchira. So, Rama was very handsome to look at. So all this was noted by Vishwamitra. So Vishwamitra has spotted the greatness of Rama. He has brought him to the forest. All this was done. Maricham dravayitva makhashirasi sharair anyarakshamsi nignan. And then after whatever he had come for, the purpose what he had brought Rama and Lakshmana for was salt. So he had to give back Rama to Dasharatha. But Rama is 12 years of age. You need to gift, return gift. Isn't that the one great thing we have learnt in the last 30, 40 years? See, I'm sure, besides the youngsters and the young office-going professionals, in the Astika community here, there are elderly people. In the 1950s, 60s, 70s, I don't think this concept of return gift ever existed. Right? Vandadhukku சாப்பாடு வேற போட்டு யாரா gift கொடுப்பாடா தள்ள எழுதா. So, but Vishwamitra thought, see, these two young boys have done so much work for me, I need to gift them. That is when he received a message stating that the Dhanuhu, which Shiva has handled, Mahadeva has handled, which is found in the Rajyam of Videha, Mithila, is being worshipped by Janaka. So you are thereby invited, Vishwamitra Maharishi, RSVP. Vanda Sandosham, Varlena Rumba Sandosham. See, Vishwamitra, all kings were very worried of Vishwamitra. If you send him an invitation, he'll file a case. If you don't send him also, he'll file a case. He's Subramanyam Swami. So they called Vishwamitra, and Vishwamitra thought it is a good idea because I have two eligible bachelors, and he started. Imau Kumarau Bhadramte. Janaka asks, Imau Kumarau Bhadramte Devatulya Parakramau Gajasimhagati Virau Shardula Vrishabhopamau Padmapatra Vishalakshau Khadgatunir Dhanurdharau Ashvina Vivarupena Samupasthita Yavvanau. Who are these two men? Very handsome. So they had to reach Mithila. While reaching Mithila, on the outskirts of Janakadesham, they saw a Mithilopavanam. It had a hermitage which was in a dilapidated state. Shithila Ashramam. That is when Rama asked, what ashramam is this? Vishwamitra said, there used to be a couple called Gautam and his wife called as Ahalya. Gautama Maharishi and Ahalya were here. there was an issue because Indra interfered in their relationship. While Indra did come with an evil intent, even Ahalya was a part of the crime because she knew that the person who had come in the disguise of her husband was not her husband, but it was Indra. Since both of them were part of this crime, being infidels, so one was cursed to have a Sahasraksham. 1,000 protrusions in the body that will look like ice, and he was called Sahasraksha. Tato manda nilodbhuta kamalakara shobhina gurum netra sahasrena nodayamasa vasavaha, says Kalidasa and Raghuvamsha. Subsequently, she was cursed that she will be adrishya. She will not be visible to most of them. I have told in many of my lectures, not visible doesn't mean necessarily stone. That means nobody will even bother to respect you. They will just go through. They will see through you. That we do, right? If we don't like a person, not very conducive to the person, we won't even pay the due respects to that person, and that person will come, "Hey, not a page. எங்க இருந்தேள்? நான் உங்களை பார்க்கவே இல்லையே." பார்த்துருப்போம். அப்படி சாமர்த்தியமாக திருப்பந்துருத்தி சாமர்த்தியத்தில் பேசிடுவோம். So, she was not given the due importance. Rama walked. As Rama walked with the gait of an elephant, the dust, the rajas that was attached to his holy padukas was dispersed in air, and that fell on Ahalya, and she regained her lost holiness. Namastasmai kasmai chana bhavatu nishkinchana jana swayam raksha diksha swayam adhika samindhana yashase Suradhisha Svairakshana Kupita Shapayudhavadu Drishatta Durjata Prashamana Padambhoja Rajase. So he gave Shapa Vimochanam to Ahalya. This is where Sita comes again. See, Venkatadhvari Kavi says, why did Rama choose Ahalya? He could have just walked. Why did he take diversion, detour, go inside that ashramam? Why? Because if at all Janaka has to get his daughter Sita married to Rama, she will look at Rama's CV. What are his achievements? Listens to his parents, reject. Appa amma pechalam ketta kalyana nadakuma. So what are the other achievements? See, Krishna had done a lot. That is why he got married. He killed, danced on Kali, lifted Govardhana, performed Rasa Krida. He was a Swiftie. So, he did everything possible. Whereas Rama was very obedient. So, Rama had to develop his CV. The only quick way, crash course, was to impress upon Janaka. Because Janaka has to give his daughter Sita in marriage. The only way to impress Janaka is when Janaka's Purohita is impressed. Janaka's Purohita is Shatananda. Shatananda is the son of Ahalya and Gautama. So, only if there is Ahalya Shapa Vimochanam, Shatananda will feel that my mother has received Shapa Vimochanam because of Rama, so I will recommend Rama to Janaka to give Sita in marriage to Rama, says Venkatadhvari Kavi in Prayatnastabakam. So, even his attempt to do Shapa Vimochanam to Ahalya was to marry Sita. Then imagine how great Sita must be. So, Rama gave Shapa Vimochanam to Ahalya. Earlier, he protected the Yajnam. Pasitala Mande Muniyaga Munani Bahuparakrama Muni Nerungana Rakasha Shivadana Bhakta Janavana Shankarane. After protecting Yajna Samrakshanam, he gave Shapa Vimochanam to Ahalya. Dharini Shilayai Tapamu Talaka, says Tyagaraja Swami. Then he entered Mithila. Now here is where we need to understand Valmiki's delineation or depiction of Srimad Ramayana is very simple. He is a reporter. Nation wants to know. 9 p.m. So he reports. So he will tell you what has happened. But Kamban, one of the greatest Tamil poets we know, Kamban salutes Valmiki. வாங்கரும் பாதம் நீட்டி வகுத்த வான்மீகி என்பான் தீங்கவி செவிகள்ளார்த்த தேவரும் பருகச் செய்தான் ஆங்கவன் புகழ்ந்த நாட்டை நரவம் மாந்தி மூங்கையான் பேசலுற்றான் என்னனான் மொழியலுற்றேன். For this Ramayanam that I am composing in the Tamil language, Valmiki is my inspiration, he says. வாங்கரும் பாதம் நீட்டி வகுத்த வான்மீகி என்பான். He attributes, he says, Valmiki is my inspiration. Thereby all our poets never ever politicized learning languages. They all learnt languages. Trust me, learn your Matrabhasha, learn English. Make it a point, the next 2 years, if you are a Tamil speaking person, I will learn Telugu. If you learn Telugu, you know, you have a gamut of literature. Amukta Malyada, Nannaya Kavyam, Mulla Ramayanam, Ranganatha Ramayanam, Padams of Kshetraya, Kirtanas of Annamaya, Kirtanas of Tyagaraja, Kirtanas of Shama Shastri, Harikeshanallur, Muttaya Bhagavatar. You will understand and know what you are singing. The irony is, most of the kritis in Shastriya Sangeetam is in Telugu. Most of the musicians are Tamil. So you will have invariably wrong splits. Parakuseyakavaradayakini valedevamu lokamulo. అది కాదు కదా, మీరు సంధి విచ్ఛేదం చేస్తున్నారంటే అది ఒక్క వాక్యాలు పరకుసేయకవరదాయకిని వలేదైవము లోకములో గలదా పురాణి శుకపాణి మధుకరవేణి సదాశివునికి రాణి సరోజదళ నేత్రి హిమగిరి Putri. When you sing, Meenakshi should be in front of you. That is the Devata Aradhana that you do through music. But we are in a beautiful era. You don't need devotion on the Devata, you don't need devotion on the composer. You can say that I don't believe in all of this and you can still get a title. So we are in that era. So, but Tyagaraja Swami, Muthuswami Dikshita were all extremely devoted to their Ishta Devatas. If we are true, genuine musicians, we should respect their emotion. See, when Tyagaraja Swami says, Rama, if I don't get to see your beautiful moon-like countenance with that resplendent smile, I am not able to sleep. There is melancholy. నగుమో ముగనలేని నా జాలి తెలిసి ఈ నగుమో. There is dukham in it. నగుమో ముగనలేని నా జాలి తెలిసి. త్యాగరాజు తల్ల తల్ల పుట్టాడు చెప్పారు. ఇట్ట పోయి పాడ వచ్చేనేనా. They will do Mangalya Dharanam to the mic. Nagumo Moganaleni. So there is, see, the point I'm trying to suggest is, I'm sure all your children, there are wonderful musicians here. When I listen to some of them sing, there is only bhakti. But bear this in mind. Each genre has its own pros and cons. I wouldn't say that this Sangeetam is the best, all other genres in the world are bad. No. In Shastriya Sangeetam, to Carnatic music, what is important is bhakti. Sangeeta jnanamu bhakti vina sanmargamu galade. Tyagaraja says, he could see what is going to come in the future. He says, technically you will be right. But are you singing with that bhakti that is needed for that devata? It is very important. If you feel, no, I don't believe in Rama, I don't believe in Kamakshi, I don't believe in Meenakshi, then don't sing. You can take some other genre. That's no problem. You choose Karnataka Sangeetam and then you say, I don't like Rama, I don't believe in Rama, I'll sing Tyagaraja Kritis. It won't work. So that bhakti should be there. So Tyagaraja Swami suggests. Now, let's come to Kamban. Kamban offers a salutations to Tyagaraja Valmiki. Why? Because languages don't have any vendetta against each other. Languages love each other. People who speak that language may have something against each other, but the languages don't have. In Tamil, what is the word for face? No, in Tamil. Tamil. Mukham is Sanskrit. Moonjila, adu namba. Adu North Madras. What is the word? Vadana ante adu Sanskrita shabdame. See, Uruvam is a form. See, in Tamil dictionary, there is no word for face. You have to use from Sanskritam. That is why in Tolkapiyam, learn this. In Tolkapiyam, one of the earliest works in the Sangam literature, the author suggests there are 4 kinds of words that Tamil deploys. Some words are called tirichol, which will change over a period of time. For example, in Sanskritam, the word is stotram. You praise someone. That will thiringify, which means it will be a small change in it. Totiram, we say in Tamil. So, stotram has become totiram. Tolkapiyar says this. There is a commentary of Tolkapiyam called Nachinarkiniyar Urai. He also says totiram. Next is tisaichol. Sir, this is like a grammar class, sir. Some words, for example, father is called achan in Tamil. But that word went westward to Kerala. So in Kerala today they use the word acham. Achan. Certain words are vadachol, says Tolkapiyar. Certain words we have derived from Sanskritam. Mukham, bimbam, nagam, nakham. Nakham is nagam. So Tamil uses a lot of Sanskritam words. Even letters, sha, ha, these are all Sanskrita aksharams. You can never say Padmanaban. Andal says Parpanaban. Not Padmanaban. Vedanta Deshika says Purudan Manivaramaga, not Purushan. Purudan. Because there are certain Sanskrita letters. See, the point is all these languages enjoy each other's presence. We should not create politics over that. Now let's come to Kamban. Kamban takes a small diversion from Valmiki. He suggests that Rama, Lakshmana and Vishwamitra were walking into Mithila. There was a cross street. Mithila cross street. It was a deserted street. Rama just walked into that street. There was a low hanging balcony. Sita was playing with her friends. And the ball fell very close to the edge of the balcony. So the girl said, Sita, go fetch this. So with the rhythmic sound that was emanating from those bells that were attached to her anklets, she came running towards the end of the balcony to pick the ball. She knew that this street that was close to the balcony was generally deserted. But she knew that somebody was walking, so she peeped to check who this person was. And Rama, who was walking by that street, noticing no one, suddenly thought that somebody is looking at him. And he looked at Sita. Both of them were not cognizant of the fact that Kamban was looking at them. Ennarum nalathinal inayal nindrozhi kannodu kanninai kavvi ஒன்றை ஒன்று உண்ணவும் நிலை பெறாது உணர்வும் ஒன்றிட அண்ணரும் நோக்கினார். எப்படி படிச்சிருக்கேள் கம்பராமாயணத்தை? அண்ணரும் நோக்கினான்னா மாமி மாமாவை பார்க்குறா. அண்ணரும் நோக்கினான் அவரும் நோக்கினார். It is not அவளும் அவரும். Because Sita is mentioned as avar, not aval. So they looked at each other. What is this, sir? Why should Kamban tell us? Kamban had a point. See, later when we look at Sita's life, at the age of 18, she was she went to the forest with Rama. 13 years of her exile was all fine. 14th year she was abducted. Towards the end of it, Rama had to fight, and there was this Agni Pariksha. And then later, while she was pregnant, Tatha Abhishekanantaram Varshadvayam Jatam. 2 years after Pattabhishekam, she was pregnant. So she was 35 when she was pregnant, and then she was sent towards the end of her first trimester. She was abandoned in the forest. As a single mother, she raised her 2 children. So it has been lots of downs. Generally, in arranged marriage system, if at all that exists somewhere, so in some remote corner. So in the arranged marriage concept, if things don't work the way you want them to work, then there'll be a traditional person deeply rooted in tradition who will ask, "Jadagam pathudane pannel?" So they'll ask whether you match the horoscopes right. So that's a norm. Now we'll have to ask this question. What was there in Rama's Jataka and Sita's Jataka to undergo this fault? See, in Rama's Jataka, in Lagnam, are there Astikas here who don't speak Tamil, Telugu, Kannada and Malayalam? One of these languages. Yeah. So, जैसे कि उत्तर भारत में हम बोलते हैं कुंडली, वैसा ही दक्षिण भारत में उसको हम बोलते हैं जातकम. So in Jatakam, there is a position called Lagnam. So it's called Lagnadhipati. So in Lagna for Rama, there was Chandra and Brihaspati. Vakpata Vinduna Saha. So there was Vakpati, who was Brihaspati, and Chandra, 2 grahas in the same house. So you generally count the position from Lagnam. So if you go through Lagnam, then you see the position of Ketu. It suggests that Rama had Kemadruma Yogam. If there is Kemadruma Yogam, there is chances, again I'm be very careful, chances of separation between the Pati and the Patni. But Rama's Jatakam, he missed that Kemadruma Yogam by a very thin margin. So there was no permanent separation, it will be on and off. She will be abducted, she will be back. Again, she will go to the forest, she will come back with her children. So there will be on and off separation in Rama's Jatakam. So the question is where Jatakams looked. See, even before the Jatakam could be looked is where Rama enters Mithila. There is a Maharshi, very respected in the Vedic tradition called Apastamba Maharshi. I'm sure many of you, when you do your Abhivadanam, Vedic introduction, you will invoke his name. How many of you invoke Apastamba? See, many of you. So Apastamba Maharshi suggests that in the case of an arranged or an assisted marriage, the girl likes the boy and the boy likes the girl's side likes the boy's side likes the girl, because in arranged marriage 4-5 permutations should work. In such a scenario, if everything works, but the Jatakams don't match, the Kundalis don't match, what should we do? Everything else works. What should we do? That is when Apastama Maharshi comes with a Ikshanatva Sutram. He says, if everything matches but the Jatakam, bring the boy and the girl together and bring the most experienced person by age and wisdom in your house and ask that person, be the man or the woman, to check if the eyes can communicate. If they can communicate through eye gestures, don't worry about the Jatakam, you can go ahead, is the Sutram. Make note of this. That is why Kamban had to introduce this particular where he said, Annarum nokinan, avarum nokinal. They spoke through their eyes, so looking at the Jatakam was not necessary. Karulavum Shirulavu Mithilayil Kanni Madam Tanir Munne Nindravar Yaro Ivar Yaro Yenna Pero. So Rama entered Mithila Pradesham. By the time Rama, Lakshmana and Vishwamitra entered, the Dhanush Puja got over. So Dhanush, after the puja, was placed in its treasury house or somewhere. That is when Vishwamitra said, Janaka, aisa mat karo. What? Tender bacche, young boys. Dikhao na? So Janaka immediately said, okay, fetch that bow and bring it to the court. Rama and Lakshmana were seated. Vishwamitra said, Vatsa. Vatsa means calf, or the younger one. Between the two, Lakshmana was the younger one. So Lakshmana stood up. Vatsa, he stood up. Oh, Ramayana will change now. He said, Vatsa Rama. Then Lakshmana sat and Rama got up. Dhanuf Pashya. Look at the bow. What should Rama have done? He should have seen. Nanna irukkinda appdinu vandu. Na maathu konanda appadina. Ramana paathutu vandutten appdinu vandrum. So what he meant was lift and see. See has that latent energy in it called lift. It is like f of x, function of x. It is hidden. So lift and see. Rama understood. So he went, he lifted the bow. He lifted. Ideally, that bow was an antique object. It had a crack. It was used by Mahadeva earlier. Mahadeva's bow is called Pinaka. So he's called Pinaki. Sundara Mrugadhara Pinaka Dhanukara Ganga Shira Gaja Charmambara Dhara Chandra Chuda Shiva Shankara Parvati Ramanane Ninage Namo Namo Ramanane Ninage Namo Namo Pinaka Dhara. When Sri Rudram celebrates, it says Namaste astu bhagavan Vishveshwaraya Mahadevaya Trayambakaya Tripurantakaya Trikagni Kalaya Kalagni Rudraya Neelakantaya Mrityunjayaya Sarveshwaraya Sadashivaya Shriman Mahadevaya Namaha. He's called Tripurantaka because he used the bow. Ya taishu shivatama shivam babhuvate dhanuhu shiva sharavyaya tavataya no rudramridaya. He sports the bow. But he deployed another bow at a different point in time. It had a crack, not usable. He gave it as an antique. It was preserved by the kings of this dynasty. So there had to be a bow. Handle with care. Janaka didn't place that. So Rama lifted the bow like a kshatriya vakshatram. He had to go string it. Arunagirinatha, one of the greatest Tamil poets whose compendium is called Tiruppugal on Skanda, Kartikeya, says, when Rama lifted the bow and had to handle it, it broke. How did it break? Muluk. Muluk. See, every language has its own salient features. Kannada bhashe kasturi kannada anta heluttivi alve. It's beautiful. So is Telugu. Telugu theta. Tamilukkum amudendru per. So in Tamil, you don't need Aniruddha or Rahman to give background music. The language itself has inbuilt BG. How should the dosa be gara? When you grind powders that can be mixed with hot rice with 2 spoons of ghee, it is called nara nara. Podi eppadi arakkanamna nara narangra yogambal. So nara nara, gara. If you make idli batter, the ulundu, the urad dal should be ground. Eppadi arakkanam valumu. Siladella poran irukkanum. Pora, nara, gara, valumuna. See, these are all words that are non-translatable. How can you translate? You can just say, how should the dosa be crisp? You can never say it should be gara. That person will be hunting through the pages of Webster's and Merriam's as to what is gara. So it has an inbuilt. So how did the bow break? Muluk ena murindadu vil. Rama was extremely embarrassed. He's a very well-behaved person with the best of demeanor. He felt so bad that he has come to a stranger's house and he has broken somebody's bow. He looked at Janaka with that embarrassment. He said, Sir, I didn't mean to. Janaka said, don't bother. Marry my daughter. That came as a shocker. For breaking a bow, you marry someone? That is when Janaka said, should we have the garland ready? No, he said, let my father approve. I should give that benefit to my father in this avataram. Because next avataram. So this avataram, let my father agree. Daraha pitrikrita iti. So the message was sent to Dasharatha. Dasharatha said, see, that's a wonderful idea. We'll be very honored and pleased to have Sita as our daughter-in-law. Some cost-cutting measure. Let the other 3 daughters also be married to my sons. So that we can use the same return gift. So दाराः पितृकृता इति भरताग्रजो कौशिकयागरक्षको ताटकान्तको मिथिलानगरप्रवेश महेश्वर धनुर्भेदको सीता कल्याणमहोत्सव वैभवयुतवेशको माधुर्यगानामृतवान प्रिय गुरुगुहवी श्वासो महादेवी भक्त परशुराम गर्भहरोल्लासक श्रीरामा. So Sita was given the garland. Now she had to look at Rama from her low-hanging balcony. For the first time, see again, this is per Tyagaraja, because earlier Kamban said they looked at each other. Now she's looking for the first time through Tyagaraja's eyes. But with that coyness and the media attention that she would garner, she couldn't look at Rama immediately. So she needed a vyajam. Vyajam means an excuse to look at Rama. So she had very many bangles. Matte finish, enamel, antique, 15% wastage, 5% making charge, all bangles. So she let them loose and some of the bangles just were about to fall on the ground. So the Sairandrika Stris, the women who were asked, deployed to assist her in adorning herself, they said, Sita, 14-gram bangle has fallen. So they all rushed towards the bangle. In that nanosecond gap when those women could pick those bangles, Sita looked at Rama, it seems. Not oblivious of the fact that Tyagaraja was looking at her. Kala kala manu mukha palu galigina Sita kulu kuchunu ora kannulanu juchu ninnu kana kana ruchira. Kala kala manu mukha palu galigina Sita kulu kuchunu ora kannulanu juchu ninnu kana kana ruchira. See, this kriti is one of the Ghanapanchakaraga kritis by Tyagaraja Swami. This concept of choosing the 5 was made by Harikeshanallur Muttaya Bhagavatar. He chose 5 kritis that need to be sung in the samadhi, the adhishtanam of Tyagaraja. And there was a great woman called Bangalore Nagaratnamma. She fought for this cause in 1949, roughly 70 plus years back. Is when the first rendition, the group rendition of Pancharatna Kritis was done by the sands of Kaveri in Panchanadi Kshetram called Thiruvayyar. But then, how to bring all the Vidwans together? Now we send WhatsApp messages, this. How do we practice? Because each one will have one method. So they all first got together and they sang the Kriti Jagadadandakaraka, Duduku Gala, Sadhinchane, Yendaro Mahanubhavulu. The problem came with the 4th Kriti called Kanakana Ruchira because it was a norm that a teacher will never teach Varali to his student. It was a belief that if you teach Varali, then the student and the teacher will have an altercation and they will separate. So, So how to teach? That is when one of the Mahavidwans called Maharajapuram Vishwanatha Iyarwal, who knew this kriti, said, I will teach. But if I teach you all, then there could be an altercation. So what he did was, he called them all and asked them to sit in the ground floor of a building. He went to the first floor. He said, see, I am not teaching you all. I am singing for my anubhavam. Whatever you listen, you learn. So Kanakana Ruchira alone was learnt this way. It was not learnt from Guru Mukham. Through first floor to ground floor, it was learnt. Kala kala manu mukha palu galigina Sita kulu kuchunu ora kannulanu juchu ninnu kana kana ruchira. So Rama and Sita's marriage happened. Now they all returned to Ayodhya. Sita was 6, Rama was 12. Then Kaushalya, she had the bhagyam to raise Sita as her very own daughter. Matru Pen. She is the daughter in a different form. Matru Pen. So she used to raise Sita, Rama. Now Sita was 18, Rama was 24. That is when one fine day, Dasharatha wanted to coronate Rama as the Yuvaraja, heir apparent. So he asked his ministers, see, I have been thinking for quite some time that Rama should be made the Yuvaraja. What are your thoughts? They said, Ichhamohi Mahabahum Raghuviram Mahabalam Gajena Mahatayantam Ramam Chhatravritananam Raja, we have been waiting for that moment when you will announce this. Dasharatha asked, was I that bad? இது எப்போதான் இறங்குமோ அப்படின்னு அந்த அளவுக்கா மோசமா இருந்தேன். So that is when they said, no, Rama is beyond our understanding. He's a repository of all talents and attributes. So that time, Dasharatha asks, what quality in Rama makes you all feel that he will be a good Yuvaraja? They say his wife is good. They say, Sita, why? Because for people who come to a certain position, their relatives should not get them caught in various scams and scandals. Tayyilum nallal. She is very good. So Sita's caliber is what was made as an attribute for Rama to be coronated. That is the greatness of Sita. Why was Rama coronated? Because Sita is good. In Mama Nalavara, Mithili Mami Samarthya. I don't have it. Mama konja ashadu vadiyo, ana Mami thevale. அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி. So Rama was to be made the heir apparent. That is when Sumantra, the charioteer come minister, come confidant of Dasharatha. If you look at all the Raja Paramparas very closely, Dhritarashtra will have one Sanjaya. Dasharatha will have one Sumantra. Sumantra had to go call Rama. How was he seated? Upetam Sitaya Bhuyah Chitraya Shashinam Yatha. When Sumantra went and summoned Rama that your father is calling you, how was Rama seated? Rama was seated with Sita like how Chandra is found and spotted with the asterism called Chitra. Chitra is a nakshatram. Chitra nakshatram bhavati chitram va yetat karma. So Chitra nakshatram and moon together make an auspicious combination. Like how there is auspiciousness, mangalatvam, which is seen when Shashi, when moon comes together with Chitra nakshatram. See, this nakshatram is a very important concept. Most of our tithis, Janma tithis are decided on nakshatrams. That is why Krishna Janmashtami will become a big pandemonium. Some will celebrate it on one day, the other people will celebrate it on. Krishna himself will be confused. When was I born? ஒரு நாள் ஒருத்தர் பட்சணம் பண்ணுறாளே சுமாரா வேற இருக்கு பட்சணம்னு வச்சுக்கோங்க போச்சு. ஸோ Nakshatram is very important. That is why when Bhagavan was born in Krishna Avataram, Swati Sapatni Kilatarakanam Mukta Phalanam Jananiti Roshat, says Leela Shuka and Krishna Karnamritam. Swati Sapatni Kilatarakanam. See, amongst the stars that Chandra has his wives. Chandradeva has all the nakshatram as his wives. So for Chandra, the stars are his wives. For me, my wife is a star. அவங்க வரல வந்தா கேட்டிருப்போம் சந்தோஷப்பட்டிருப்போம். அதனால so it is said that of the nakshatrams, Chandra enjoys association with Rohini. She is the page 3 photo. Rohini and Chandra were spotted in Ritu Kumar. So they are page 3. So he likes Rohini. But Rohini got to know that Chandra, when he comes in contact with Swati Nakshatram, is when it is a belief in our traditional literature in Sanskritam that pearls are born in the ocean. Pearls come out of their shells, oysters, on the day of Swati Nakshatram. So people await that day when Swati Nakshatram comes so that they can dive and harvest as many pearls as possible. So this news was known to Rohini. She said, Rohini, ये क्या है जी? आप स्वाति के साथ pearls करते हो, मेरे साथ कुछ नहीं. ये बहुत गलत है. So आओ हिंदी भेजो. स्टालिन केटा कोचुंड्रुवर அதுக்கு. So that is when Chandra said, don't worry, await that night in the Krishna Paksham of Ashtami Tithi, when you shall be in the asterism in the sky, Rohini, and that night I shall give birth to a beautiful sapphire which is priceless and nulli secundus. That is why Krishna was born. Swati, because he is like Indra Neelam, right? Indra Neelamani Sanni Papa Ghana Chandra Suryanaya Na Prameya Vagindra Janaka Sakalesha Shubra Nagendra Shayana Shamana Vairi Sannuda Jagadananda Karaka Kalinguni Talala Paina Gappina Pushyaragamu Eleti Sri Venkatadri Indra Neelamu. Indra Neelam, sapphire. So sapphire was born when Rohini was there. So the nakshatram is very important. During 2021, the second wave of COVID, I was directing a movie in Sanskritam. It is there on YouTube. It is called Shakuntalam. It is full movies there on YouTube with English subtitles. People will ask, is it there with English subtitles? Can I please watch? So for them, Sanskrit is a very foreign language, but they'll watch Squid Game. Korean is understandable. Sanskritam is foreign. என்னத்த பண்றது? இங்க கண்ணாவது பேசும், அங்க அதுவும் பேசாது. So you can understand. See, the moment we have preconceived notions about languages, you can never learn that language. This is tough, this is not good, this doesn't sound good, I will never know. Then you will never know. Think this way. Next 1 year, I am going to learn some basics of Sanskritam. 1 year, I am going to appreciate Malayalam poetry. Take steps towards it. How you will become a polyglot, you will start appreciating languages. Always have a positive outlook. Don't see, what is the use of learning this? Will I get? No. You have to appreciate. That is what is literature meant for. We are all blessed with the ability to learn languages. Let's stop this unnecessary dvesham on another language, mocking the other language. Raskala, Murugana. What is this? You will never learn Tamil then. If you are not learning Tamil, you are losing out. You won't know Thirukural, you won't know Silapadigaram, you will never know Tirumura, you will know Divya Prabandham, you will never know nothing you will know. If you don't learn Kannada, you will miss out the Devar Namas. Yake Nirdaya Nadiyo Hariye Yake Nirdaya Nadiyo. If you listen to Dasa's Devar Namas, you can really gel well with that Vagekara so well. Kannada is so beautiful. Marathi, what devotion Tukaram had towards Vithala. How beautiful Marathi is. So these are all avenues to learn. Well, now, while I was directing this movie, I had to recruit a few actors and I had to tell them, you have to learn Sanskritam. 4 months I will do a Zoom training. Most of them agreed. Then I had to find one description of Dushyanta Maharaja as given by Valmiki. Broad shoulders, thin hip, whey protein, gym body. So then I spotted one person, very good looking, very eager to learn person from Haryana. His name was Shubham Singh. So I spoke to him over the phone. We couldn't meet, it was COVID time. So I said, see, I'll teach you for 4 months. By then the wave will come down, then we can start shooting. He said, बहुत धन्यवाद sir, ये मेरा शौक था कि मैं संस्कृत में बोलूं. I said, all the शौक and all is okay, fine, you will learn. Then as he started acting, he could pick things up very fast. So generally in Jyotishya Shastra, my maternal grandfather was very good in Jyotisham. So it is generally believed that if you're very good in fine arts, you're very good in dance, you're good in music, even there is a beautiful way you make presentation of your dishes that you've cooked. You know, the way you present it. All this requires finesse, which means Shukra in your Jatakam is very good. So Shukra denotes that presentation. So I asked him, just like that, he was good in fine arts, what is your nakshatram star? He said Salman Khan. So I wanted to know whether it was Chitra Nakshatram or Swati Nakshatram. Then I thought it is Upetam Sitaya Bhuyaha Chitraya Shashinam Yatha. Like the Nakshatram Chitra that sits with the moon was Sita with Rama. Now Rama had to leave that place. He said, Sita, bye. What did he do? Parisammanita Sita Bhartaram Asitekshana. Sita looked at Rama, it seems. See, before you leave, just say bye. Look at me. You have to leave your house. Will you look at your partner and say, look at me once? And then go. But here he says, Bhartaram Asitekshana, says Valmiki. Rama made it a point to look at Sita's eyes and leave because he wanted two plans. Plan A, he has to become the king. Plan B is what he wants, to go to the forest for 14 years. For plan B to supersede plan A, he needs the divine grace. Divine grace from the eyes of Sita. So he looked at Sita for his plan to fructify. So Sita's grace was required for Rama's plan to go to the forest to happen. Sitayaha asitekshana. Yasyam dishi viharate devi drishtistvadiya. So that is when he was told, you have to go to the forest. Plan B. Rama came. He told Sita, I am leaving. And then Sita said, I have to come with you. Sita is very assertive. See, if you read the Ramayanam as presented by Valmiki, as far as I know, he wrote Ramayanam, not Ramanand Sagar. So, if you look at Valmiki's Ramayanam, she is a very strong woman. Very strong. We should not volunteer to become her advocates, attorneys. This shouldn't have happened to Sita. I sympathize with her. இந்த மாதிரி ஏதோ ராமாயணம் படிச்சு குடிச்சா மாதிரி. Ramayanam, Sita doesn't need an attorney. She can become our advocate. She talks that well. When Rama says you have to stay in Ayodhya, she says why? She asks, why should I stay in Ayodhya? See, you won't enjoy the comforts that you're enjoying in Ayodhya in the forest, Sita. What is that problem that stops you from taking me to the forest? Kantakam, full of thorns. The paths are infested with thorns, Sita. There's nothing called the one that was more traveled or less traveled by, like how Frost says, two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and really be one traveler. Long I stood and looked down as far as I could. The paths are not that trodden or less trodden by. It's infested with thorns. You can't walk with your sensitive feet on the thorns. Sita said, I get your concern. I agrataste gabishyami. I shall walk in front of you, Rama, don't worry. I shall remove those thorns and make the path thorn-free for you to walk. Agrataste gamishyami kusham akantakan. Rama thought, for every idal sollinde irukkaadu. Ennatha sonnalum or badil. Some people, whatever you say, they will always give another reply, some other reply. He said, see, Sita, you can't enjoy these cuisines that you enjoy here. Whatever you feel like you have here, right? Dal bati churma. Right? Gutti vankaya. Parupurunda korambu. Bisi bele bot. All this you get here. In the forest, you'll get only fruits and tubers. She said, that's what Anjali Mukherjee says. I have to be on a diet. So I'll come. You, whatever I say, Sita Matha, she said, I've been trying to convince you for this long. I do realize why you seem to discard this very thought of taking me to the forests. Like the scarecrow that is kept in the agricultural fields by the farmers to drive the birds away, so are you a scarecrow carrying a bow and a quiver of arrows. My father has made a grave mistake by marrying me to a man who claims himself to be a man. He is just me. Striyam purusha vigraham kim tvamanyata vaidehaha pitame Mithilaadipaha Ramajamataram prapya striyam purusha vigraham. This is the verse by Sita. Rama says, come. இதை முன்னாடி திட்டு வாங்காமையே பண்ணிருக்கலாமோ? யார வெஷு வாங்கிட்டு கூப்பிடுவாளா? Very assertive. See, at the age of 18, she knew how to speak. So, this half-baked readings of Koracharya and Vikyacharya will land us in problems in the Ramayana. So, she accompanies, Lakshmana says, if both of you are leaving as Narayana Lakshmi, Ramam Dasharatham Vidhi Mam Vidhi Janakatmajam, Sumitra says. See, Sumitra. So the topic is Sita, I have to celebrate another woman. What a great mother. See, if Rama has to go to the forest, had I been in Sumitra's position, Lakshmana's mother, what I would have said? Tumavan. அவன் போய் தொலையட்டோண்டா, நீ என்னடா பண்ற? அவனுக்கு தள்ள இழுத்து போறான், உனக்கு என்ன, நீ உள்ள வா. அண்ணா நான் உன்னை ரொம்ப மிஸ் பண்ணுவேன்னா அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு வந்துடும். ரெண்டு அழுதுட்டு வந்துடும். This is what a mother would say. See, my mother is a very good woman. But when we used to have power cuts, while I was in a school phase, first thing she said, பக்கத்தாத்துல இருக்கா போய். Is there power in the next house? If there is power in the next house, we will not sleep for nights. அவ அவ்வளவு கெட்டவாளாச்சு. Such bad people. அப்படி யோசிப்போம். But Sumitra, she said, Lakshmana went and asked, Mata, shall I go with my brother and sister-in-law? You know what Sumitra said? You have made a grave mistake by wasting this time. You should have left by now. Ramam Dasharatham Vidhi Mam Vidhi Janakatmajam Ayodhyam Atavim Vidhi Gachatata Yathasukam. My dear son, from today onwards, if somebody asks who is your father, don't say I am D. Lakshman, you are R. Lakshman. You are Rama's son. Ramam Dasharatham Vidhi. I should not be quoted as your mother. Janakatmajam, Janaka's daughter, is your mother. Sita is your mother. Ayodhyam Atavim Vidhi. Whichever place you go, that will be Ayodhya to you. Gachatata Yathasukam. What is the other meaning? Govindaraja says in his commentary, Rama is Dasharatham Vidhi. Dasha in Sanskritam means bird. Dasharatham. Dasha, bird. The king of birds called Garuda. Dasharatham. Dasha is Garuda. Ratham is chariot, Vahanam. The one who has Garuda as his Vahanam, Narayana. So Ramam Dasharatham Vidhi, my dear son, I am telling you the secret. Rama is Sakshat Narayana. Mam Vidhi Janakatmajam. Janaka's daughter is Ma, Mahalakshmi. Ayodhyam Atavim Vidhi. Ayodhya is Vaikuntham, where the both of them stays Vaikuntham because they are Divya Dampati. So Dasha is Garuda. You know, there was a Prahelika. Can anyone tell what is a Prahelika? Edo ponnu perina. Edo mami peru. Who is Prahelika? Very good. Who said that? Excellent. Big hand. Prahelika means a riddle. No, there used to be a riddle. Viraja Raja Rajarehe, Viraja Raja Rajarehe, Chaturnam Chaturaksharam, Purvardham Tava Vairinam, Uttarardham Tava Sangare. This was a Prahelika. What it says is V. The Aksharam V means bird. Viraja means the king of birds, which is Garuda. Viraja Raja, the one who is the lord of the king of birds, which is Narayana. Viraja Raja Arehe, that is Raja Putra Arehe. So Narayana's son is Manmatha. Arehe, so his enemy is Shiva. He is denoted by a 4-letter word. You're getting the riddle? So Viraja, king of birds, Viraja Raja, the lord of the king of birds, Narayana, his son, Putra, Manmatha, Arehe, his enemy, Shiva, is denoted by a 4-letter word. How is this 4 letters? The clue comes in the next line. The first 2 letters, Purvardham, the first half of the first 2 letters of this 4-letter word, is your enemy. Tava Vairinam. Uttarardham, Tava Sangare. The next 2 letters are your friend, ally. What is that? The word is Mrityunjaya. Mrityu is your enemy. Jaya is your friend. So Mrityunjaya. So how they used to make riddles. This work is a riddle. Ramam Dasharatham Vidhi. So the 3 of them leave Ayodhya. Lakshmana performs Sharanagati, Sabhratus Charanaugadham Nipidya Raghunandanaha, Sitamuvacha Tishayam Raghavam cha Mahavratam, Aham Sarvam Karishyami, Jagrataha Swapataschate. Mata, shower your grace on me. So the Netram, the eyes of Mahalakshmi are very important, because I'm talking about for Shankar Nethralaya, right? For decades together, how much service, both in Bharatadesham and through various channels in the US and other countries, how much they serve. Paramacharya Chandrasekharendra Saraswati Mahapariva had his full blessings on Shankara Nethralaya, because it was a novel concept in those days. Today, yes, but in those days, for exclusively dedicating services to the eyes. Shastram stresses so much on the eyes. Of the Pancha Jnanendriyas, this Indriya alone is very special. Drishti. It helps you see. So much so that if something goes wrong, people, the elderly people will say, people have cast their evil eyes on you. Even in Pakistan, there's a statement, Nazar Utarna. So this concept of drishti exists in all cultures. So eyes are so powerful. One of the charitrams of Shaivam called Kannappanayanar, he gave away his eyes. A devotee gives his eyes to Shiva to prove his devotion. In Sri Vaishnava Sampradayam, the grandfather to Kanchi Purna, called Haritavarana Bhritya, received his eyes upon services to the presiding devata of Kanchipuram, called Devaraja. So, Netrasat Kuru, says Kuresha, give me those eyes. Kachi, Danil Kankodukkum Perumal. So, those eyes through various dharmic activities are done by Shankar Nethralaya. I urge all of you to be a part of their dharmic activities. Donate as much as you can for their dharmic activities, especially for the redemption of eyes of so many people who can't see. They should receive eyes for what? To see the beauty of Krishna of Guruvayur. Dristamatre punaha urupurusharthatmakam brahmatattvam. They should see the Krishna of Udupi. They should see the Devaraja of Kanchipuram. They should see the Venkateshwara Swami of Tirumala. For that they need eyes. So here, Rama, Sita and Lakshmana left Ayodhya. So Sita's grace is what made Rama go to the forest. It is Sita's grace that made Lakshmana Sharanagati to serve the both of them for 14 years fructify. They were all in the forest, Chitrakuta. Bharata comes. Bharata comes and says, Rama, you have left me and Ayodhya, both of us. I have come to submit both Ayodhya and me, my Jivatma, at your feet. Rama said, Bharata, I can't return before the completion of the 14 years. If I just return in 10, 12 days, it will be like a leader who goes to the jail in Kali Yugam and comes back. So I have to serve for 14 years, my dear brother. Till then you rule. He said, Nahi bhaiya, I will not rule. Then who will rule? Then they asked Shatrughna. Shatrughna, you rule? Shatrughna said, see, this kingdom has been rejected by you, Bharata and Lakshmana. Why should I accept a rejected? Main nahi rule karunga. Then they didn't know what to do. That is when Vasishtha said, Adhiroharya padabhyam paduke hemabhushite. Let these gold laden inlaid padukas that have been adorning Rama's feet rule Ayodhya. So after Aja Maharaja, after Dasharatha, before Rama could rule, for a span of 14 years, one woman ruled called Paduka Devi. 14 years. Vedanta Deshika suggests in Paduka Sahasram, even in Rama Rajyam, when Rama ruled, there could be one or two accusations. But when Paduka Devi ruled, no scam, no scandal. Amma was like that. So, Adiroharya padabhyam paduke hemabhushite. So why did Rama choose the Padukas? Because Padukas were a manifestation of Sita's grace. So ultimately it was Sita's grace that ruled Ayodhya. So Rama needed Sita to approve of Lakshmana's Sharanagati. Rama needed Sita to approve of Bharata's Bhakti. Well, they were in the forest. They needed a Vyajam. Only if Ravana comes and kidnaps Sita, will Rama construct a setu, fight and come. Imagine Ramayana without Sita's kidnapping. காட்டுக்கு போயிட்டு வந்துட்டான் சந்தோஷமாக போயிட்டு வந்துட்டான். Then why will we read Ramayana? All the end, Shubham. ரெண்டு பேரும் போனாளா போயிட்டு வந்துட்டான்னா அது எதுக்கு அப்புறம் என்ன கதை? There should be some swarasiyam, right? Sita has to be abducted. Who can abduct Jagannatha? She has to facilitate herself for the kidnap. She could not be kidnapped. She facilitated. She knew only if she is kidnapped, Rama will come all the way to Dakshina Bharatam, have a coalition with the Vanaras, construct the Setu, annihilate the Rakshasas, and then restore Dharma, and then come back. For that, she facilitated. So Sita was carried. Now comes Rama's love, real quest. See, what is great about Ramayana? In those days, it was a norm. Kings were polygamous. Now, don't ask me whether it is right. In my opinion, wrong. But they were polygamous. But Rama was a trendsetter, an exception. He was married once. He would do anything to fetch Sita back. That is his love. See, he, as a king in those days, if Sita is lost, he could have said, Sita, nanachinde na Geeta va kalyanam pannite. Adu sollalaame yaar kekka pora? Illa. From Ramapuram, he could have gone to Gopalapuram. So, but, so he waited for Sita. That was his love. So when he entered from Maharashtra to Karnataka Pradesh, it is his love for Sita that made him seek friendship with Hanuman and thereby Sugriva. Why he did all this? For Sita. That's what Venkatadhwari Kavi says in Lakshmi Sahasram. But there is one incident before this kidnapping that happened. Remember this. See, people often ask, Sir, Ramayanam, understandable. Yes, there is dharma. There are incidents that can inspire us. What about Mahabharatam, sir? There seems to be only incidents that makes us feel, oh, we should not be like that, we should not be like that, not like him, not like her. Why should we read? That is where Shastram says, a scripture need not be ideal. Because this was not meant to be written as somebody's figment of imagination. It was a direct report. Whatever happened, Vyasa wrote. You can learn how to learn and you can also learn how to unlearn. So Mahabharata is a process. So if you look at Srimad Ramayanam, everything is not perfect. When Sita asked for the gem-studded golden deer, Lakshmana wants, go through Aranya Kandam. He says, Mata, this could be Maricha. Despite that, Rama runs behind the deer. And Maricha was the first AI-trained voice. He shouted in the voice of Rama, Ha Sita, Ha Lakshmana. Sita said, something has happened to your brother. Lakshmana, leave this place. Lakshmana said, you have lived with my brother for so many years, Mata. Close to 25 years. You know my brother now. I have been there since his birth. I know he is invincible. Nothing would have happened to him. This is some Rakshasa's work. Lakshmana, leave this place and protect your brother. Mata, why should I leave, Mata? How can I leave you alone? If you seem to not leave this place, I feel that you were waiting for an opportunity to initiate an illegal, immoral relationship with me in your brother's absence. Sita says, 3 verses, Aranya Kandam. Lakshmana closes his ears and says, Mata, you are my mother. How can a mother utter such words to her dear son? Mata, I've been serving you all these years, relinquishing my comforts, my family, because you are my mother, Mata. How can you say such words? He leaves this place with tears rolling down his cheeks. When you do Bhagavata Apacharam, when you hurt your fellow human beings, we may be excellent in doing Aradhana to Bhagavan. I do Panchayatana Puja, sir. I do Shadagrama Aradhanam. But you do not know how to respect your fellow human beings. Aradhana is 0, minus. When you do not know to treat another human being with due respect, what purpose is religion serving? I have constructed a beautiful garland for Bhagavan. You know how beautiful the garland is? Waste. Nothing, 0. Bhagavata Pacharam can never have prayaschitta. It is important that Either we speak to people with good demeanor, and if they seem to be very harsh, stop speaking, stay away from them. Rather than getting into an altercation, fighting, arguing, just keep quiet. Silence is, what is golden? Silver, golden? Golden. Platinum. Silence is golden. You know, Paramacharya, great Acharya, used to do Maunavratam. We should do Maunavratam, not him. So Sita left that place. See, why is this incident? You may wonder, sir, you're telling Sita is Jagan Mata. Why should Mata speak like these, utter these words? Because a mother is the one who demonstrates to her children how things should work. See, there are two ways. Your child is walking towards the fire, you can say it in a nice way. Kanna, don't go near the fire, the blazing fire will burn you. Some children will listen, some won't. Poi kaiya vei, nanna vei. Yerikata. That's another way of saying, right? So if Sita has to say, don't do Bhagavata Apacharam, we will never take notice. For that, she puts herself in that place where she hurts the sentiments of her devotees. And then she bears the brunt, because the moment she has hurt Lakshmana, in a few minutes from then she is abducted. Bhagavata Apacharam leads to that abduction. So she tells her children, see, I did this, I am bearing the brunt. So you will not be spared, so don't do it. So Sita was abducted. Now Rama had to have a coalition with Sugriva. Sugriva was the estranged brother of Vali. He comes in contact with Hanuman. I've spoken on Hanuman in 2016 in the month of July here in the very same temple. Oh, you're going to talk a few words about him? Yes, because the beauty about lectures is people, whoever would have listened, would have forgotten. Engineering semester mari. So, in my humble opinion, you may have a different thought. Hanuman is the star of Ramayana. Star. Without Rama is there, Lakshmana is there, Bharata Bhakti is there, Lakshmana Bhakti is there, no doubt. They're all great characters. But Hanuman, he comes for a short span, and the impact he creates. He was of Vanara Jati. They are all of Nara Jati. The way he spoke to Rama, his communication skills, negotiation skills, very good in forensics. See, when he has to go in search of Sita, how did he know this is Sita? Sita is not having a boat, right? J Sita. Ab J Sita hi hona? She didn't say, I'm Sita, Sita, Sita. She didn't declare. How did he spot this is Sita in the middle of the night? First of all, if Rama had sent us instead of Hanuman, we would have not gone to Lanka, we would have gone to Maldives. Yadame tapa itrukkom. Anga boy yaro mami paatru kuduttu modaratha kuduttu vanduttirupom. Mami, modaram anna kudukka sonnar appdinu solittu asade mari kuduttu vanduttirupom. Ramar kettirupar. Idu yaarna? Nee yaarkitteda kuduthe? Ayyo Pankajathu kuduttu vanduttiyada asade. அது பங்கஜ மாமி தொலைஞ்சி எப்போவோ போயிட்டா ஆத்துக்கார தேட கூட இல்லை, அவர்கிட்ட போய் கொடுத்துட்டு வந்துட்டியே மோதிரத்தை. ஸோ Hanuman had very little time. He had to go in the evening hours to Lanka and return before the sun rises. It was a surgical strike. Middle of the night he has to go to a foreign country. By then Anjana Devi, Hanuman's mother, namaga foreign ಹೋಗಿದಾನ್ರಿ, ಆನ್-ಸೈಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟು, ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ತುಂಬ ಸಂತೋಷ ರೀ ನಮಗೆ. ಹೌದೇ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಗ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾನ? ನಮ್ಮ ಮಗನೆಲ್ಲ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ? ಸೇತು ಬಂಧನ ಮಾಡಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರ್ರಿ ಅವರು. ಇವಾಗ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿ ಭವನ ಹತ್ರ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ವೀಣಾ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ಸಿಂದ ಊಟ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಹನುಮಾನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಲೆಂಟ್ ಪಾತ್ರ. But the beauty about Hanuman is, see, Hanuman was extremely buddhir balam yasho dhairyam, everything. He had knowledge, education, everything, prowess. See, generally this power and education won't go well. Yeah, it will never. Mama will be Ivy League University. He can't lift one luggage from the conveyor belt. Dandama irpar. தூக்கிவிட்டார்னா L3 ப்ராப்ளம் வந்து அந்த மாதிரி மாமாவாக இருப்பார். தூக்குற மாமாவாக இருந்தால் படிச்சிருக்க மாட்டார். Hanuman was a combination, well-read, very powerful. Buddhir balam yasho dhairyam nirbhayatvam arogata ajadyam vakpatustvam cha hanumat smaranat bhavet. Hanuman was that. But Hanuman graduated from a boys-only school. He never knew how to move with stris and especially Narajati stri. So he was always wondering, why is this Rama lamenting through the night about Sita's loss? But he didn't speak about it. But Rama was very good in deciphering the inner thoughts of a human being. So he knew that Hanuman was of this thought and he personally wanted Hanuman to go and see Sita. So what he did was he gifted his ring. Ramanamaankitam chedam dattadeva anguliyakam. He gave this ring to Hanuman. The other Vanaras, he knew they will also go in search, but he shouldn't have wasted their time. If he knew Hanuman would have gone, then it is a waste of Vanara resources. So Hanuman has to leave. Hanuman left Bharatadesham. He has reached Lanka. He initially suspects Mandodari to be Sita. Later he concludes this cannot be Sita, goes to Ravana's kitchen. Then he goes place after place and then comes to Ashokavanam, sits on the Shimshupa Vriksham and then thinks, all this while I was searching for Sita in Lanka, I couldn't spot her. Probably there is a mistake from my side. I should have propitiated to Sita Matha before searching for her. Namostu tasyai janakatmajayai. He prays to Sita and that very second he looks down, he sees Sita. He spots Sita. Avyakta rekham iva chandra rekham pram suf pradugdham iva hema rekham. Bhadrachala Ramadasu, he used to sing kirtanas on Swami Rama. Nothing moved. At one point in time he got very angry. He said, you seem to sport a beautiful necklace with an emerald in its center. Rama of Bhadrachalam, you seem to be extremely resplendent with that necklace. Did your father-in-law give you this? I gave it. Nimama ajanaka maharajupam pena Rama Chandra. But nothing worked. He said, this man, shameless, he doesn't. Apatrapam. Rukmini says, apatrapam me. He doesn't react. Then he said, I should go through Sita. Nanu brova mani chepu nari shiromani janakuni kutura janani janakamma nanu brova mani Chapave Sitamma Talli Nanu Brova Mani Chapave. That is when Sita tells Rama and Lakshmana says, it is your devotee, our devotee, go and rescue him. Then they come as Ramo Ji, Lakshmano Ji in the middle of the night. Wake up Tana Shah, who has had dum biryani, Hyderabadi biryani. The night he slept well after having betel leaves. In the middle of the night, Ramoji says, we are distant relatives to Kancharla Gopanna. He had kept that wealth with us. We forgot to give. Yesterday, while we were cleaning after many years, we spotted that wealth. You take this and release him. Tanasha. They said, Tanasha, you count and check. Tanasha didn't know how to count. He was a politician, right? So, he didn't know how to count. Then Ramoji said, I've given you the necessary money to release Kancharla Gopanna, sign on the receipt. He said, in the middle of the night, मैं क्या किधर sign करूँगा? That is when my Pracharya Srinidhi Swami writes in Bhadrachala Panchashat, Ramoji was sporting a beautiful silk uttariyam. He said, sign on this with what? With the betel leaves that you have chewed and then you have spat on that particular vessel. There is this red mushy thing. With that you sign. So on Ramoji's uttariyam, Tanasha signed stating that I have received the money. The next morning when Bhadrachala Ramadasu is released from the jail, Bhadrachala Ramadas runs to the hillock to see Rama, for he hasn't seen that beautiful countenance for more than a decade. That is when he spots that uttariyam on Rama's angam, shariram. So that was Sita's greatness. Here, the moment he thinks of Sita, he spots Sita. How was she? She was looking as if a thin layer of dust was spread on the moon. Avyakta rekhamiva chandra rekham, pramsuf pradugdhamiva hema rekham, kshatraprarudhamiva hema rekham. She looked so beautiful, and then now he makes a connection. See, earlier he was thinking, why should this Rama lament over Sita's loss? Now he says, if Rama has managed to survive after having lost such a great wife, he must be a heartless person. Dushkaram kritavan Ramaha dhanaya prabhu dharayatyatmano deham nashoke navasidati. Then he compares Rama and Sita. He has seen Rama earlier, he has seen Sita now. Are they a good couple? Good couple. Tulya Sheela Vayo Vrittam. He checks if there is equivalence in their characteristics. Vayo Vrittam, Vayas, age. Two of them walk into the elevator, one lady and the man. Oh, Punna, your daughter? No, my wife. Mama Kalamari irundha eppadi. So Vayas, in their age they were a good match. Tulya Sheela Vayo Vrittam. Vrittam, characteristics. If there is a general understanding of likes and dislikes between the Pati and Patni, things will work very well. Both of them like discourses, they will come here, eat out and go home. Only if one stays back, it is a problem. Right? Tulya Sheela Vayo Vrittam. Both of them like Carnatic music, both of them can attend. We have a great violin Vidwan here. Huh? So, they will attend Vinjumuri's concert and they will go. Both of them are good in classical music. They'll say, Ennama Kalyani Vasikara. Pa, pichi, Kirchupta. Alex Babu Jolrar. Jaman Vasikara. Tulya Sheela Vayo Vrittam. Tulya Abhijana Lakshanam. Abhijana Lakshanam. Both of them have a very respected legacy. I'm sure the elderly people here can relate to. When it was an arranged marriage, there used to be this norm where the boy's side will come and see the girl for the first time. Tata paati ellati kootu nundruva. Aatla irukkiradhu pazhayadella pottu. So then they will introduce. This is the boy's great grandfather. He published all the kandams of Ramayana. This is the boy's grandfather. He published all the skandams of Bhagavatam. This is the boy's father. He had published Vishnu Sahasranamam with the commentary. This is the boy. He has published nothing. Onnu manala urupadiya. Ana kalyanam panni kuduthirungo. Tulya Sheela Vayo Vrittam. Tulya Bhijana Lakshanam. Raghavor Hati Vaidehi. For this Raghava, it is that Vaidehi. For that Vaidehi, this is Raghava. Tanchayam Asitekshana. But, see, that is the beauty. Hanuman says, for this beautiful-eyed Sita, Rama is a good match in age characteristics, which means Rama is a very good match to Sita on all possible parameters, but the eyes. Sita has won Rama Champions Trophy through the eyes. Tulya Sheela Vayo Vrittam. Then he spots Mata Sita. He has to give the ring to her. Sita is very... See, in Srimad Ramayanam, it's a secret. Without Sita's approving of someone, Rama will not accept that person as his devotee. That was the tacit understanding between the couple. But that was not made very blatantly available, known to the general audience. So Sita was quite worried when Hanuman said, see, I am Hanuman, I am Anjana Devi's son, Rama's Duta, my Swami Sugriva is Rama's friend, there is an MOU signed between the two. Sita was wondering, without my permission, how did this MOU get signed? Right? But she didn't want to ask. She knew that this is an understanding that she has with her husband. So she asked in a very different way. See, these are all nuances in communication. Right? If you have nothing in your house to be served and somebody has arrived all of a sudden and you have nothing at home to serve. Please, next time, please make sure you come for a dinner. I'm sure you'll be full now. சாப்பிட்டுட்டு தானே வந்திருப்பேன், நம்பாத்துல எல்லாம் போய் நீங்கள் சாப்பிடுவேடா. எப்பேற்பட்ட ஆச்சாரசீலர், இது ஒன்றும் ஆச்சாரமே கிடையாது, முருங்கைக்காய் தொகையில சாப்பிடும். So Sita had to ask, how did this happen without my approval? So she asked, Vanaranam naranam va kathamasit samagamaha. You say you are a Vanara. You say Sugriva is a Vanara. I know my husband is a Nara. Vanaranam naranam va. How did this sudden friendship blossom between Vanara Jati and Nara Jati? Vanaranam naranam va kathamasit samagamaha. What is the internal thought? Without me, how did this happen? Hanuman understood. See, he could read the lines and between the lines. Navavyakarana Pandita. Extremely well read. But look at the way he handled this situation. He didn't say, hey, Sita Matha, I know. You know how he spoke? He said, Mata, you have a very good question. See, first of all, in the art of questions and answers, I'll tell you, many of you will be working professionals. Towards the end of a presentation, probably you entertain questions. How do you handle? It's a nuanced. When somebody poses a question to you, first praise the questioner and the question. Very good question. எப்படி கேட்குறேன், யோ என்னமா கேட்குறேன்னா அது உட்காந்துரும் அசடு, அதுக்கப்புறம் காதிலே விழாது. So you should always praise the question, even if it is a waste question. என்னம்மா கேட்டிருக்கேன், எப்படின்னா எப்படி இப்படி ரூம் போட்டு யோசிக்கிறேடா, கேட்கணும், கேட்டால் அப்படியே உட்காந்துரும். Similarly, Hanuman said, Mata, you have a valid question. I will tell you, I will narrate what happened. Mata, we were clueless. Vali had excommunicated his younger brother Sugriva. He began a small party, Sugriva Kalagam. உருப்படியாக ஒரு கழகம் இருக்க வேண்டாமா? So 4 of us joined in that party. We were the founding members. आप ही हैं क्या? आप नहीं हैं ना अभी. So we came. We were clueless. We were seated on a boulder. We were clueless what is going to happen. That is when we heard the cry of a woman who said, Rama, Lakshmana. We didn't know who that lady was, Mata. But we spotted her. She was being abducted by, I think, Ravana. Mata, later we realized that it was you. Because Rama confirmed. Mata, you remember you looked at us. You looked at us and you threw your jewelry, assuming that Rama will walk by this path and we will tell him where you are. You threw your jewelry looking at us. You tore a part of your sari. It had the motif of Hamsa. Vedanta Deshika says, Taddakulanka murtau tanmanjira prathamanine nyasya nishpanda drishtihi. The day she was abducted, she had the motif of Hamsa on her sari. See, if you go to a kshetram called Lepakshi in Andhra, Vijayanagara dynasty, it's called Lepakshi motif. It's a Hamsa. That's GI tag. So you get Lepakshi saris with Hamsa motif. Hamsa. It's a zari border. Taddakulanka murtau. That is why Hanuman is great, because he has spotted that pallu that day and he compares that with the motif that he sees on Sita's sari in Lanka. That is 4 and 6. You have to observe things. Paatela na gavanikave liye. Abdiya gavanikave liye. Hanuman, very good observation. Whatever ornaments were thrown by Sita were not spotted in her body, says Deshika in the second bhagam of Hamsa Sandesham. So Hanuman says, Mata, you threw your jewelry, you threw a part of your sari, you looked at us, Mata. Though we couldn't be of any help to you at that point in time, it is because of your Divya Drishti, Mata, that we were able to make friendship with Rama. Sita Happa. See, look at the way he handled this situation. Va naranam naranam va. So Sita's grace that made Rama accept Sugriva. Sita's grace that coaxed Rama to kill Vali. Sita's grace that made Sugriva the king. Sita's grace that made Rama send Hanuman as the Duta. Now Hanuman, after seeing, he gives that ring. After that ring is given, he says, Mata, you give me something. That is when she gives the gem-studded hair clip, Chudamani. Chudamani is given and Hanuman places it and says, Mata, you come with me. Sita says, see, if I want, I can myself burn Lanka and come. As such, they'll come to IMF. So they will ask for more. It's okay, I will come. But I want Rama to come. I want to add some glory to him. He has been carrying this kodandam and quiver of arrows, right? That should serve some purpose. Edukku chumma vechindukar kodandam. Dandathukka vechindukar. Illaya oda vendama. Let him come and fight. That will, I want to add glory to him. I can rescue myself. Bhasma bhasmarha tejasa oru sollinal suduven. பாவம் அப்புறம் பேரே இல்லாமல் போயிடும் இல்லையா. ராமர்னா என்ன பண்ணார், நான் வந்துட்டு போயிட்டார், நான் சும்மா பார்த்துட்டு இப்படி போயிட்டார், சும்மா வந்தார், கோநட்டத்தை பிடிச்சுட்டே இருந்தால் திரும்பி போயிட்டார். தண்டத்துக்காக இருக்கு. லெட் ஹிம் கம் அண்ட் ரெஸ்கியூ மீ. She blesses Hanuman, Sita Matha. It is Hanuman, Sita's grace that made Hanuman great, not Rama's grace. Ashta Siddhi Nava Nidhi ke Data Asbar Deen Janaki Mata Ram Rasayan तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा. राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की. तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे. अंत काल रघुवरपुर जाई जहाँ जन्मी हरि भक्त कहाई. और देवता चित्त न धरई हनुमत सेई सर्व सुख करई. संकट हरे मिटे सब पीरा जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा. जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई. कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई. जो शत बार पाठ कर कोई छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई. जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा. तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा कीजय नाथ हृदय महडेरा. कीजय नाथ हृदय महडेरा. राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो. Hanuman received all the blessings that he had because of Sita. When Rama had to fight Khara, Dushyana and Trishiras, a battalion, a large group of 14,000 Rakshasas in Janasthana single-handedly, and he had bruises, blood oozing from different parts of his body, it was Sita who gave him a heartfelt embrace. So, Bhartaram Parishasvaje Tam Drishtva Shatruhantaram Maharshinam Sukhavaham Babhuva Krishta Vaidehi. She came and hugged. Periyavachan Pillai, the commentator, asks, what does Sita's embrace ensure? Mahalakshmi in Shastram is a repository of all herbs that are required for rejuvenating. The one who has herbs in her body embraced Rama, and all his bruises and the pain went away. So for Rama's bruises to go away also, she is the doctor and the nurse. For Hanuman, she is the one who blesses. Finally, towards the end of the Yuddham, Sita is called. Now is where we will have all our children asking, everything is fine, that's just fine. But why did Rama ask Sita to go the test of fire? Why did that Agni Pariksha happen? I don't think it's right for Rama to have done that. I simply don't agree. Yeah. See, that is why 46 minutes back, I told you one incident in Aranya Kandam. Before Sita was abducted, there was an Bhagavatapacharam that she had done. To that man who served her religiously, sincerely, with no iota of malice, called Lakshmana, all the gift that she did was, you've been waiting to initiate a relationship with me. Look at that man who has sacrificed all his comforts, how it would have hurt him. Rama knew, though he knew Sita in and out, he was the beloved of Sita, he knew, though I am not ruling Ayodhya now, I am the defunct ruler. Right? So, I, as a ruler, should ensure that there is justice. Just because it's my wife who has hurt some individual, oh, Sita has hurt, it's okay. I can't do that. Even if it's my family member who has done a wrong thing, I have to punish them. That is the rule of an administrator, which Dhritarashtra failed to do. When his son and sons were admonishing and when they were not doing justice to Draupadi, he said, is it over? Has she been humiliated? This is the state of Sarvatmana Andhaha called Dhritarashtra. If you are a ruler who chooses family over your nation is doomed to fail. Dhritarashtra did that, whereas Rama did not want to do that. Though it was Sita, of course, Jagannatha, but she had openly committed a Bhagavatapacharam. So she had maligned Lakshmana's character. So that character maligning that Sita did on Lakshmana was thrown back to her. Whom did she malign? Lakshmana. That is why she goes to Lakshmana and pleads, Lakshmana, light the fire, I will get inside the fire. So she pleads to the very person whom she had maligned. What is she maligned with? The same dosham that she maligned him with. So you may ask, that Rama could have done that in private. It isn't right. Kotler in 4th chapter says, Kotler will say, my problem is, see, as speakers, we are bound to explain what is there in the Ramayana. Rama is not going to consult with us. Dushyant, what do you feel? How should I handle Sita? Can we just have a brainstorming about it and a SWOT analysis? He is not going to ask me. I am here to explain what is there in the Ramayana. You can choose to still agree or disagree. See, in Sanatana Dharma, even if you question, agree, disagree, you can be rest assured your head is going to stay with the body. Right? वो अलग होने वाला नहीं है, आप पूछ सकते हैं. सनातन धर्म का यही एक महत्वपूर्ण feature है. You can always question. But Krishna says, Arjuna, question, but do that with humility. Learn first, internalize, ruminate, contemplate, and then come up with questions. Don't ask questions for the sake of asking. Oh, I know how to put this person in his place. Sita, why? What? How am I going to help you? If you are not going to believe, it's your problem. Don't believe. Right? In Tamil Nadu, many people don't believe. Their wives do. So, Agni Pariksha simply is a prayaschittam, an atonement for the Bhagavatapacharam. That's all. Had it been truly where Rama is trying to suspect Sita's character, Raghuvaran Mari, hey. Raghuvaran Iver. Abdicate in that, trust me, Sita wouldn't have stayed for a minute with Rama. That's why I told you she's a very assertive woman. She's not that typical person who's going to stand behind the door. Yenna. Na, paralama. Abdilla kakamata. The area mana mami adu. She knew that she was at fault. How do we know that? See, in Sundarakandam, when she meets Hanuman, Hanuman comes and meets, she does a first identity check. Tell me, how is Rama's uru, katham bahu? How is Rama's shoulder? How is Rama's thigh? This is her question. You ask an ambassador who has come, tell me how is his thigh and how is Ramar Kalamu Todai Patukopa. Todai Patutia? Katham uru, katham bahu. She is doing a proper identity check. How are his eyes? What is his height? She asks, what is Rama's height in Sundarakandam? He says 8 feet. It is there in Sundarakandam. So she is possibly wanting to ensure that it is not Ravana in this disguise. She is ensuring. After all this, she confirms that truly this is Ramachandra's dasa. Ramachandrasya dasoham Shri Sita Nayakasya Guru Guhahitasya Ramachandrasya dasoham. When she knows, then she asks, how is Rama? Correct? She should have asked. She didn't ask, how is Rama? She asks, how is Lakshmana? First question. And that too, she doesn't call Lakshmana by his name. You know what she says? Ramanujam Lakshmana Purvajamcha. How is Rama's younger brother? How is the one who's born before Lakshmana? Srinivasan has come to Chungu. How is Srinivasan? Mithila Athakarar eppadi irukar? Mithila Athakarar ஏன் ஸ்ரீனிவாசன் கேட்கப்படாது? அவருக்கு வேல்யூவே இல்லைன்னா மைத்திலி ஆத்துக்காரராக இருக்கிறதுனால தான் வேல்யூவே. மைத்திலி ஆத்துக்காரர் எப்படி இருக்கார்? ராமானுஜம் லக்ஷ்மண பூர்வஜம் ச. How is Rama's younger brother? What she implied is, he can even survive my absence, Hanuman, but he cannot survive Lakshmana's absence. So the one who is inseparable, apritak siddha viseshanam from Lakshmana, that Lakshmana who is regarded as Rama's brother, Ramanujam, she doesn't inquire about Rama first. She asks Lakshmana, because all this while she was repenting. When things go wrong in our life, we'll keep asking this question, why me? That is when we will start repenting. Maybe I would have hurt this person. Maybe I would have done this wrong. That is when Sita repents. I am Janaka Nandini, Dasharatha's daughter-in-law, Rama Patni. Look at her attributes. She is Sita, Rama's wife, Janaka's daughter, Dasharatha's daughter-in-law. Everything is great. But why did this happen to me? Bhattatri asks this question. Bhattatri in Sriman Narayaniyam was suffering from rheumatoid arthritis, excruciating pain. He asked, why am I suffering? Throughout Narayaniyam, at one juncture he gets an answer. He says, when Krishna returned to Mathura from Vrindavanam, realizing that he is the inmate of Mathura, people were standing in queue to welcome Krishna with a golden platter. Everybody came out of their house to welcome Krishna, but one person who thought, why should I welcome this abductor, this cattle thief who knows only to lie? Why should I welcome this man who does not know the basics of hygiene? Anachara Krishna. Let others go. I will not welcome him, was his thought. Bhattatri says, that one person who didn't welcome Krishna while he entered Mathura out of sheer arrogance was me in my previous janma. Because I did that, I am suffering from rheumatoid arthritis today, which means, however we are convinced or not convinced, our Purva Janma karma is what that makes us suffer. If we do not understand this, how many ever times we listen to Upanyasams and how many ever times I speak, it is a useless tinsel. Our own karma is responsible for our actions. So Sita wanted to get this conveyed. So that is why Agni Pariksha is a beautiful depiction of Bhagavata Apacharam. It is not Sita's test of chastity. Rama doubted. Hey, Niyar. This is not a we are dealing with Sharanagati Vedam, not some third-rate movie script. How will, if Rama had done that with that thought, none of our acharyas would have revered Rama. Why will they keep dharmo vigrahavan, adharma viratim? If Rama's thought was to doubt Sita's chastity, wrong. That is why we should always compare. If you want the snitch to open at the close, correct, with that sorcerer's stone in the 7th book, you have to read the first book to get that flesh memory. To understand Agni Pariksha in the 6th Kandam of Yuddha Kandam, you need to learn those verses of Aranya Kandam. There is a connection. That is what Valmiki wishes to establish. So Sita runs. So Sitaya's Charitam Mahatu. So Ramayanam is nothing but the Grantha that talks about the glory of Sita. Then Rama, Kuda. Pakatha Pama Suma Avarum Varuvar. Molagapudi Mari Varuvar. Yeah. So Rama is there. But it is Sita's glory. Sitaya's Charitamahadu Sitam Mayam Shri Ramudu Maku Tandri Ma Janaki Chetapetaga Nanu Brova Mani Chepave Pahi Jagat Janani Pahi Mam Karunaya Panke Ruhanayane தாயிரங்காவிடில் செய்வுயிர் வாழுமோ சகல உலகிற்கும் நீ தாயல்லவோ அம்பா நீ இறங்க க்ஷீராப்தி கன்யககு ಶ್ರೀ ಮಹಾಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಿಗೆ ನಿ ಅಲರುಲು ಕುರಿಯಗಡೆನರೇ ಅಲುಕುಲ ಕುಲುಕುಲ ಅಲಮೇಲು ಮಂಗ ಹಿರಣ್ಮಯೀಂ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀಂ ಸದಾ ಭಜಾಮಿ ವರಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀಂ ಭಜರೇ ರೇ ಮಾನಸ ಶ್ರೀವರಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ನಮಃ ಸ್ತುಭ್ಯಂ ಮಂಗಳದೇವತಯ ತ್ವಯ. All our acharyas in Aikakantyam have celebrated Mahalakshmi as Sita. I have been given the opportunity by Sankara Nethralaya, that has, through its board, its volunteers, all the astikas, made it possible for all of you to a free event, make liberal donations for them. This is happening in this very beautiful temple of Sri Venkateshwara Swami temple, whose eyes are akin to the lotus petals, whose face is akin to the lotus, whose feet is akin to the lotus. Everything is lotus here. So in this beautiful lotus Sri Venkateshwara Swami temple, I've been speaking on Sita today. This is a weekend. Tomorrow is a weekday. I'm sure lot of you travel for work, have professional and personal commitments. Just one day, if you can manage your time, you can be a part of the Shravana Yajnam tomorrow evening. It won't be at 4:30. I think it will begin at 7. So 7. So 7 p.m. They have facilitated the lecture to happen between 7 and 9 p.m. tomorrow. The topic is very interesting to me because every time, of course, Sita is Jagannatha, there is no doubt. But when I speak of Draupadi, there is a different feeling because she answers a lot of the questions what the current world feels taboo. So, Draupadi is very interesting as a Kathapatram, and her Sharanagati is deemed as the best Sharanagati. So tomorrow we will get to witness the greatness of Draupadi through the eyes of Vyasa in the other greater Itihasam called as Sri Mahabharatam. Most of my lecture is in English, Indian accent English. I hope that is understandable. So I'm sure you will have children, you will have folks. See, the lecture is facilitated in the language that 3 acharyas have given to us, Ren, Martin and Victoria. So it is in English. So this is done so that people of the Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, Kannada, Marathi, Hindi, Sindhi, Gujarati, Odia, Bengali speaking communities can attend. So barring those few places where I divulge in my Matrabhasha, Tamil or in Telugu or in Kannada to just get the local, because certain lines are not translatables, right? Jollu vadi irudana enathe solradhu jolla enna solvel. So there was jollu, avladhan sollano. Drooling doesn't do justice. Drooling is in the right word, jollu. See, that's jollu is an emotion. So please be a part of the lecture tomorrow. Kavita Arkika Simhaya ಕಲ್ಯಾಣ ಗುಣಶಾಲಿನೇ ಶ್ರೀಮತೆ ವೆಂಕಟೇಶಾಯ ವೇದಾಂತ ಗುರವೇ ನಮಃ. ಪವಮಾನ ಸುತುಡು ಪಟು ಪಾದಾರ ವಿಂದಮುಲಕು ನೀನಾಮ ರೂಪಮುಲಕು ನಿತ್ಯ ಜಯ ಮಂಗಳಂ ರಾಜೀವ ನಯನ ತ್ಯಾಗರಾಜಾದಿ ವಿನುತಮೈನ ನೀನಾಮ ರೂಪಮುಲಕು ನಿತ್ಯ ಜಯ ಮಂಗಳಂ ಮಂಗಳಂ ಕೋಸಲೇಂದ್ರಾಯ ಮಹನೀಯ ಗುಣಾತ್ಮನೇ ಚಕ್ರವರ್ತಿ ತನುಜಾಯ ಸಾರ್ವಭೌಮಾಯ ಮಂಗಳಂ. ಜಾನಕೀಕಾಂತಸ್ಮರಣಂ ಗೋಪಿಕಾ ಜೀವನಸ್ಮರಣಂ. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. There is an announcement by Sri Swami Vidwan. Just 2 minutes he'll take. Please make the announcement, sir.
Give a big round of applause to Swami. Please. Big round of applause. I need just 30 seconds of your valuable time. This is the appeal request time. Shankar Nethralaya, basically we do mobile eye surgical unit. That is, this mobile eye surgical unit comes to your native place. There are so many people who have donated. We are almost very close to completing 100,000 free eye surgeries. Possible because of you all. My humble request, humble request. Each surgery is just $65. Okay? Just $65. Or there is a one-day surgery for, so there is everything, all the details are there. So my volunteers are coming. If you have cash donations, they will come and get that. Or credit card, check. Please stand in line and donate for the good cause. Thank you so much. We all see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. Thank you so much.